Hi, Stacy here. Do you suffer with sciatic pain? I hear this from a lot of my clients that come and work out with me here and do the yoga and yoga trapeze. They feel it in the back of their hip here, wrapping around to the back, shooting down the leg. Is that you? You're not alone. There's hundreds of people throughout the world that suffer with this every day. Maybe you haven't always had it, or maybe you do an activity, then all of a sudden, you get that twinge in your back and you're feeling it and it's shooting that pain or tingling down the leg. Or maybe you have a new life experience happening. Maybe you're pregnant and that baby is setting a little bit differently in there and putting pressure on that sciatic nerve, and you're feeling a lot of discomfort and pain happening there. You're not alone. That's a common thing that I hear. I have a few stretches that I think might help to relieve that pressure, relieve that discomfort, and hopefully make your day a little better. So the first one is we're going to go down on the floor, go into a cross-legged position here, cross leg here, cross the left over the right leg to start with, set tall through the spine, place your hands out in front of you, and we're just going to pivot at the hips. We're not rounding, okay? Not rounding the shoulders, pivoting at the hips and lean forward. Go forward as far as you can, walking your hands forward. We don't want to strain the lower back, so make sure and have a tall spine, tall up through the crown of your head, pivoting at the hips, leaning forward. Now this one might be a little bit challenging for you. If you're in a lot of discomfort in that sciatic, you'll definitely feel it. So just go down to where you go right up to the edge of the discomfort and back off ever so slightly so that you can hold this stretch for a minute. But where you should be feeling it is in this outer hip, the outer side here. And you want to make sure and hold this and breathe to relax. So what I mean by that is first we need to have a softened muscle. So we want that muscle, if you're touching it and feeling it through here, you'll feel a little bit of tension, but we want to try and relax that area that we are stretching. That's why we don't want to go down so far that we're in a lot of tension and a lot of pulling on that muscle. We go right up to the edge, back off a little bit so that muscle is more relaxed. We're trying to create space and opening up through here where the piriformis muscle is. That tends to put pressure on that sciatic nerve, so we're trying to open that up. We want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth so that we can relax our body while we're holding this stretch. And then the third thing is time. We need to have that little bit of tension and hold it for an amount of time, and allowing those tissues to loosen and breaking up and soften around that nerve. So you want to do this stretch with the left leg crossed in front and hold it for 2 to 3 minutes. And then you'll also want to come back and switch, placing the right leg in front, sitting tall and pivoting forward at the hips so that we can work on the other side. And you'll find that you maybe have one side or the other, one hip or the other side, that is a little tighter, a little stiffer than the other. That's okay. That's normal. But move just down to where you're feeling the pressure and come back. You'll also want to do that both sides. Right leg in front, 2 to 3 minutes. Left leg in front, 2 to 3 minutes. Our next stretch that we want to do, we need to move down onto the floor again into a tabletop position. Tabletop position, so the hips are going to be stacked over the knees. Spread the fingers, have the hands stacked underneath the shoulders, and we're going to do hip circles. So I'll turn this way so you can see me a little better. Hip circles, so think about doing reach out and reach forward, swirl them around. Let's go counterclockwise to start with. Big hip circles. And you'll want to reverse the direction also. When you go down, you want to really set the hips down on the side. Bring them around, set them down on the side, come forward with it. Really exaggerate that circle. We want to feel this in the outer hip, down the length of the leg. So as we shift our weight over, you'll feel that stretch right through this area here. Hip circles are our second stretch here that we're doing. So exaggerate that, make them big. You could even do some figure eights if you want to come down, up and over. Think about doing a figure eight. Anything to move and loosen the hip area will help with your sciatic. Our third stretch that is beneficial for your sciatic nerve is called a pigeon stretch. You may want to use some blocks or some books. A book would work in your home too, just something to support you a little bit. What you'll want to do is come down into that tabletop position here, tabletop position. We're going to start with our right leg. Bring your right leg forward so your heel down on that. And we're going to rotate the heel to the left, going to our left side, coming down onto our knee. Now this is where you can modify this. The farther, more than 90 degrees that the right leg is in, the more stretch, but you might need to wiggle that heel back closer towards the foot, towards the knee, and then extend your left leg back, and try and set the hips down onto the floor. So this is where you maybe will want the blocks. I'm going to turn here so you can see. And extending down here. This hip might need a little bit of support. So you can take something, a block, and put underneath you. Extending back. You want to be tall with your spine here, not dumped out to this side, not dumped to the left side, okay? Hips opening up forward, and you can walk your hands forward as far as you can go here. This is where you can use your other block. Maybe you can lower your head down onto it. We don't want to strain through this, so we don't want to be sitting here trying to hold ourselves. Okay, if that's too much pressure, we don't want to be doing that. So that's why I like to use the blocks that I can lay on them. Also, my hip is setting on it here. Maybe you don't need the blocks. And you can do it this way also. Maybe you can hold yourself upright. Use your arms as like tent poles. And you can stretch and sit down into it this way. Let me turn again. I'm going to switch sides so you can see with the other leg. The left is going to turn, set out with the right, stretch it up. My feet are going to be up. And I'm setting down into this hip area here. Letting gravity pull the hips down. There again, if you need a block, you can put that block underneath you to give a little bit of support there. Also, you can adjust the angle of the left heel. It can slide up more, can pull back more. You can walk down. You'll want to stay in this stretch for like a 7 out of 10. You'll want to, is what the intensity is like, but you'll want to stay in this stretch for 2 to 3 minutes on both sides so that you can really open up the hips. And there again, that is going to impact the piriformis that wraps around through on that outside and opening to the inside of the thigh here. We're creating space around that nerve so that there's not the pressure pushing down onto it. Our fourth stretch that you can do to help the sciatic discomfort is called a diamond stretch. It's a little bit like the first one that we did, but instead of cross-legging, you're going to bring your heels together. So heels together. They don't have to be very far in towards the body. Okay, find maybe 1, 2, 3 distance of fist width. 1, 2, 3. About that far away with your heels. Allow gravity to open up the knees and pull them down. A stool might be helpful for this also. As I place my heels together, diamond my legs. So I've got 1, 2, 3, about fist width apart. I'm going to use this chair and stretch out, holding on to the chair here. There again, try not round the back so much as we sit tall, pivot at the hips, and reaching forward. Remember to soften the muscle by breathing to relax. In through the nose for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and exhale out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Once again, hold that for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the intensity that you're feeling, to help. For our 5th pose, you're going to want to use blocks again. Now you're almost done. We have 8 poses here that will help it, but for our 5th pose, going to take your right leg, like we did in pigeon, set it down, right leg. This time, left leg is going to be going the length of the short side of my mat, all right? So right leg coming across, the arch of my right foot is kind of coming towards the knee of my left leg. And you'll notice when you get in this position and turn your feet, your toes going out away from you, don't point them back. Turn them so they're going out away. What is important here is that you have your knee and your ankle, knee and your ankle, knee, ankle here on the ground. So if you can't get it all the way to the ground, you can use a block here because this will protect our knees. Maybe you need something under this one here. You can do that. The other tendency you'll have is to dump into the right side here. I want you to sit tall so your body is in the center here, not leaning to the right. You'll feel this in the outer left hip. If you take your 2 fingers and push on it, you'll feel that tension underneath there. You can place this block here, pull your hands to help you set upright here. Now this is option 1. You can stay here. Option 2 is you can go forward. I'm going to take this block out and you can walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward. And you can set this. You'll have a tendency to push out to the right side. Try and keep your body centered so you're feeling the stretch around this outer right hip. The left hip, you'll feel it creasing forward on the bend forward. And as you sit upright more and lean into the center of the body, you'll feel it in the outer left hip also. So modify this by maybe wiggling out, not bent quite as hard. You modify that. Also modify by if you need blocks for support, so we're not having knee pain, right? We don't want that pressure. You can use a block behind you to help you sit upright and push through. If you're able to lean forward on it, gently lean forward. Find the spot that gives you a little bit of tension, that you can stay in this position, a little bit of tension, but not pain. We're looking for a 6 to a 7 out of 10 intensity with this. And breathe through it. There again, hold this one 2 to 3 minutes. And you'll want to do that on both sides. So to get out of this, you're going to lean to the right, swing that left leg around, set upright again, left foot bends in front of us, curls in front, right goes behind, lengthwise with the short side of your mat, so kind of in a 90 degrees here, not going clear past it, too much pressure on the knee for that. Toes flexed out, get a block underneath the knees if you need that. Remember, we need the knee, and ankle on the ground. You can use your blocks behind you to help you square your shoulders up to the front. So option 1 is we stay here, body in the center, not leaning to the left, all right? Setting upright so the pressure is coming on this right hip this time. We can stay here, or if it's available to you, you can walk forward with your hands and lean forward, as long as we stay upright in the center and not leaning to the left as we do this. All right, this is stretch 5. Let's move on to 6. Stretch 6 is what I like to call fire hydrant. All right, we're going to go down into a tabletop position on all fours here. Hips and knees are going to be stacked about hip width apart. Stack the arms underneath the shoulders here. And we're going to lift the right leg up like we're a dog peeing. That's why I call it fire hydrant, okay? So we're lifting our right leg up and lower it down. Now you'll have a tendency here to, as we lift, we really kick to the left side. We're going to drop into that hip. I don't want you to do that. Keep that hip tucked in. So maybe you need to move the left leg underneath you more in the center, but you can lift so you're not dropping the left hip. Keep it upright as we lift the right and lower down. Lift. This is a stretch that we're doing, but we're doing it in motion and movement. Connect your breath with this. So we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll move to our left side. So get your weight set in the right knee as we lift the left and lower down. Lift the left, lower down. And lower down. You'll want to do about 10 on each side, lifting and lowering, to help loosen that hip area. For our 7th stretch, you're going to make your way down to the floor onto your back. And lower down slowly here. Extend your left leg out. Right leg, you're going to bring the knee up to your chest. Left hand is going to reach, grab the opposite knee, your right knee that's up to your chest, and pull to the left. Right arm is going to stretch out, tee out to the side here, and you're going to pull the left knee over very slowly. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me here. Left arm grabs right knee, pulling to the left. Try and keep your right shoulder down on the ground a little bit. So you can stay here. Now, if you can rotate all the way to the ground, good for you. You can do that. But sitting here holding is kind of hard to do. So you can use some blocks or some pillows. something that you can bring it around and rest it on. If you're in a lot of discomfort in your sciatic, this may be as far as you can go, but I don't want you to sit here and try and hang out and hold it in midair. Find something that you can set it on, a pillow or something, so that you can have support in this stretch. Maybe you can go clear down. And we'll want to hold for 2 to 3 minutes on this side here. When you come out of that, slowly roll back around. Shift your hips, and we're going to go to the left side. Towards our right side. So we're going to raise our left knee, grab it with the right hand, pull it towards the right. Find your blocks or a pillow, books, anything like that that you can support yourself on. And breathe to relax. Again, holding for 2 to 3 minutes. That is a rotational knee twist that is opening up this lower part of our back where we sometimes get that pinching, and it wraps around the hips that puts the pressure on that sciatic nerve. For our last stretch, I'm going to be using these pads here. If you have a stool or a coffee table, bench, chair, anything like that will work also. I have very short legs, so these pads are just about right for me. We want to sit down, place your heels on the floor, bring your right heel up on top of your left leg. All right heel on top of your left leg. And we're going to sit tall with our spine, pivoting again at the hips, leaning forward. This is a variation of pigeon that we did down on the floor. Instead of the left leg being stretched out, it's supporting our right leg. You want to be careful not to tweak and put pressure here on the right knee that's up, but try and lean forward with it. Let me show you what that would look like with a stool here. Placing. The higher you are, the less intense it is. So if you're feeling a lot of intensity when you're a little lower, get a little higher. Raise up a little bit. Right foot up on top of left knee, and just sit forward, lean forward on it. You'll feel this in your outer right hip, stretching around through the glutes. If you feel with your 2 fingers, feel back there, you'll feel that tightness right there. That's into your glutes, and deep underneath that is your piriformis, and that's the area that we're trying to stretch right here. Again, hold 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to switch sides here and bring the left heel up on top of the right knee. You can put a little pressure, but be careful of that left knee here. You can put a little pressure and lean forward, or go without any pressure and just lean forward. All of these stretches you'll want to hold for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not taking the time in this video to hold it for that full time. You can do that on your own. But those are 8 stretches that will hopefully relieve a little bit of your sciatic discomfort that you're feeling, and try to loosen and open up those areas so it doesn't return as quickly. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. See ya.